Today I want to show you how really easy it can be to draw a simple and pretty Celtic border around some artwork that you may be working on, either for a greeting card or for a flyer or a poster or a banner or something, you know. But anyway, it's really easy to do, and so let's look down here at my tabletop. I remember the right button to push. There you go. So what I've got here is I wrote out a poem. It's that poem called Invictus, which I really like because I like the final lines of it that say, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." I just like that. So so I put that onto this piece of paper, and then I thought, well, it needs something, and so I put a border around it. And I want to show you how I did this border. I've got it drawn out over here on this page too. Actually, let me just zoom in on the first one so you can maybe see it a little bit better. And I did this with a gold pen. What one did I use? You know what? I can't remember what gold pen I used for that. But anyway, just a gold metallic pen. And I used the same pen. No, I didn't. I used a gold metallic Sharpie to go around to ink over my border pattern after I drew it on there. Let's see if I can make that show up. Yeah, you can kind of see over in here that it's the metallic pen there. It's not perfect, but I think you can see it anyways. That's what I did, and I think it came out really nice. And so I've been using this for my plan of what to do when I'm, let's go back over here, when I'm going to be doing greeting cards or anything like that I want to send out to someone, and I want to make it look pretty, so I can put a border on it. Now here's another one where I was kind of just playing around. Let's zoom in on that one. Maybe I can zoom in even further and show you. What I did was I drew the pattern on, and then I inked it with my black, just these regular black micron pens. I just, went over the pencil lines. And then I laid my ruler down here, and I used a colored pencil and just kind of shaded over it like that, and then I put it over on this side to square up that other side too, and made this really pretty border. Let's see if I can, let me do my tricky thing where I put these bins my husband gave me right up here on my table, underneath my camera, so I can plop this picture up here. That's to help me hold it steady, because I just can't talk and hold the paper steady all at the same time. And that is not zooming in quite as well as I would like it to. I mean, it's not focusing. Zooming in just fine. It's not focusing well. Maybe I can put it up here even higher and trick it into focusing on there, because I want to show you something about the lines that I erased, the pencil lines. That's still just not doing it, is it? Try it up here, slide it right up there. That's getting it more into focus there. See, you can see where my pencil lines, the tip of that pencil just kind of dug into the page, or it indented the paper there that I was drawing on. And then also when I went back to ink over the pattern, I kind of corrected my pattern in a few places where when I drew it with the pencil, I didn't get it quite right. Oh, now I've knocked it out of focus with my finger. So while we're in focus there, what I did was I made corrections as I was going through inking. So my ink lines didn't come out exactly where my pencil lines were, but that's one of the reasons I draw it in pencil to begin with, so that I can go back through and tweak the positioning just that little bit. And so I inked it, and then when I went back through there to put the colored pencil, put in the color over top of it, what happened was, as I slid my pencil lead back and forth over the little area there, the color did not go down into those indentations that the pencil made when I was drawing the pattern. So I've got these white lines in there, and I think they look to me like echoes of the pattern, and I really like how they look. They added a whole nother dimension to my artwork, and I like it. Now, I didn't even move it at all. The light didn't change, and it went out of focus. Why the heck did it do that? If anyone knows and can tell me, please clue me in, because that just gets me really frustrated when my camera won't focus or won't stay in focus. But anyway, there we go. At least I got to show you what I wanted you to see on my pattern here. So anyway, I wanted to just say I love those white lines. They look like echoes. They add to rather than take away from my artwork. You can't really see them, and I'm not going to go through all that rigmarole again, but they're in this one also, and I just like how they look. And I've got this one where I was kind of zoom out a little bit there, where I was working on this pattern, making this be you know, just making it something so that I can show you what all you can do, and also to show you how when we draw this, what we're going to do is we're going to make a series, a line of dots, and because we're making it a border, we're going to make a square of dots, and then we're going to go back in and start drawing the pattern on it. And what happens is we go all the way around making the pattern the first time, and then we go around again making the pattern the second time. So we'll draw this one, and then we'll draw this one, and then this one, and this one, and you can see that looking at the ones that I drew in regular pencil versus the ones that the second time around I drew it in red pencil, so that you could see the difference. I tried drawing it in a purple pencil, but you can't differentiate. My camera won't pick up the difference there between the purple line and the regular pencil line. I don't know why that is, but you can see right here the red lines. So the red ones you can see distinctly different from the regular pencil ones. And then you can see down in here I started coloring over it again, and I put some pink over top of that red line, and that made a cool pattern too. So keep that in mind. There is so much you can do with this. And on this one, this is just to show you you can do this same pattern but square off the ends so that you end up with like a line of this pattern either underneath text or above it or in the center separating blocks of text or anything like that. You can square off the ends. You can also round off these ends. You can make these come to a point. There is so much you can do with this once you learn this basic pattern. So let's see if I think I showed you everything I wanted to show you. This is where I was just working so that I could come up with a way to tell you distinctly how we're you know, really easy steps how we're going to do it. Oh, look at this one. You can see where I've kind of got this is a slightly modified version of it, but I've got rounded off corners. Here's some rounded off corners right here. This one's rounded, this one's pointy. There's some more where I've squared off the ends, just to show you a lot of the different things that we can do. And on this one I turned the end up like that, whereas this one they're just normal. So all of these things you can do, and this is what I'm talking about when I say we're going to make lines of dots. One thing that's very important to keep in mind about your lines of dots, you have to keep them, your dots have to be consistently the same space away from each other so that you end up with consistently sized patterns. Oh, and I didn't talk about the repeats. Okay, so this is a repeat of this is one of the pattern, and a repeat of the pattern, and a repeat of the pattern. And let me zoom in so I can show you what I'm talking about there. When you're doing your patterns, we have, like on, for example, on this one right up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 repeats of that pattern across there. And for each repeat, you want to have 5 dots. And for a line of 6 repeats, 6 times 5 is 30. And then you need to add 2 extra dots. You want to have a corner turning dot and a spacer dot for every line that's going to be turning a corner. You don't need the spacer dots if you're just making a straight line of this pattern. But to do a border, a box or something like that with corners that you're turning, to turn that corner you need a corner dot and a spacer dot. So like on this side we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 repeats of the pattern. So 4 times 5 is 20. So you want 20 dots plus 2, a corner and a spacer. So there's 22 dots involved in making this side. And if I said that was 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be 32 dots making that side. On this one, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 repeats of the pattern here. So 8 times 5 is 40 plus 2. So I would need 42 dots along here. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's 32. What else do I make here? This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2, so that's 27 dots. From here to here, 27 dots. Because it is 5 repeats times 5 dots for each repeat of the pattern plus 2. So whatever size you're making, you need to add, you need to have it be in multiples of 5 plus 2. So for this piece of paper, oh, and I'm not telling you that because I expect you to know how many repeats of the pattern either. That's not it. What I expect you to know is you're going to take your ruler and your piece of paper you want to put it on, and you're going to lay your ruler down. Let's see if I can use this ruler because it'll show up better. And we may need to zoom right on in here. And let's see, I think I've got all the lights on that need to be on. Okay, so if I want my pattern to run from, say, about right here to over about right here and go up to somewhere in there, say that's about how much of my paper I want to fill in with the pattern, all the way down in here. I want to just leave that much around the edges. Then I'm going to put my ruler down here and see that that coincidentally ends on the 4.5 mark, 4.5 inches mark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put a little dot every 1/4 inch, starting with one there, and every 1/4 inch gets a dot. Now we are going to run into a little bit of an issue, but I just want to go through this part, so go through these steps so you can see how to work this out on your own when you start working on this for like greeting cards or whatever it is that you have, because I want you to see how to consistently make this lined up for the size paper that you're working on. Already I forgot to pay attention to how close I was to the top, so this row of dots may be a little bit low. But anyway, now I want to count these dots, because remember it needs to be multiples of 5 plus 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I need 3 more dots for this to be multiples of 5 plus 2, because I would need 22, and I've only got 19. 20, 21, 22. It's missing 3. Now, I could also take 2 away, and then instead of 19, I've got 17, which would give me 3 repeats of the pattern on the top, plus my 2. And that is going to be easier. To take away 2 is going to be easier than to try and fit 3 more on here, because I'd have to put 1 right there, and then I'd have to put 1 there and 1 there, and then I'm like right out at the edge of the paper, and there isn't any space to work with. There's no room for drawing. So what I'm going to do is erase that dot and erase that dot, and that shows me that that's about the closest I'm going to get to the parameters that I wanted to have there as far as how close to the edge, and that's good. Now I'm going to turn the paper this way and do the same thing, and I'm going to start with that being my very first dot, and lay the ruler down and make sure you've got it straight away from, the same distance away from your edge. Here, I might get this straight so you can see it. There. You want your ruler to be straight with the edge of the paper there. Okay, so now I want to go down to, let me just move this over here so I can show you another thing here. If I put that at the 1, that shows me I've got roughly 1 inch above there. So I want to come down here and find 1 inch from this end. That's 8.5. So go back to this 7.5. I want to come down to somewhere in that vicinity for as far as making these dots. And I could count them right now as I go, but let's just do it this way because I want to be able to explain to you how I arrive at positioning these on the page and figuring out how many repeats and how many dots, etc. So again, I'm making a dot every 1/4 inch down the edge here. And if I was using a larger piece of paper, like say I wanted to make a banner on a really, really big piece of paper, then I could put my dots every 1/2 inch or every 1 inch, depending on how large I want my pattern to show up on the finished piece. But if you're making something really large, you probably don't want to go with these 1/4 inch dots, because that'll make your pattern really small on your really gigantic piece, and it won't probably be as effective. Okay, so now counting dots, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. That worked out perfectly. Let me just measure what that is. So if you make a 6.5 inch line of dots, it's going to be 27 dots, which will be 5 repeats of the pattern, plus your corner turning and spacer dots. So that's perfect. Now I need to repeat these dots over here and up along here. And I want to make sure that I get them straight. So this was that's the one I erased. This is the first one on this end. So I'm going to put the 6.5 mark right there. And then I'm going to make sure this line goes straight with the edge of my paper here. And then I can just make those dots right along there. Every quarter inch. And I'm making the dots a little bit more prominent than they really need to be, because if I didn't, my camera would not pick them up and you wouldn't be able to see them. You can make your dots nice and light so that you don't end up with a whole bunch of dots in the middle of your pattern. It looks better when you don't have those distinct dots showing up. But I'm just putting them so that you'll be able to see them. Okay, so what I've got there is 3 sides finished with dots. Now I need to make sure I get the same number of dots down there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 dots. And I want to put 17 dots at this end, and that gets me to put an exactly dots at 4 inches. So 1 there and 1 there. My starting dot is already made there. My ending dot is already made there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 right there. So I've got my dots perfectly spaced all the way around. And again, that is important because you want your pattern to be consistently spaced and sized all the way around, so that you get the prettiest appearance of your finished border. So hopefully that was good, and we've got that down. You now know how to measure and put your dots, and how to count how many to get on there. So let's move right into starting to draw the pattern. I had to stop, and it's getting dark in my studio, so I had to stop and adjust the lighting a little bit. But let's move forward. We're ready to start this. Now, the starting point is key here, where we're going to start. We want to start in our pattern with this center right here. Oops, let's just get me out of the picture so you can see better. There we go. Okay, we're going to start with this from this center point right here. And that spot, I can tell you from my paper that I already figured things out on. That spot is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots in from the corner. So can you see that? There's my corner turning dot, and there's my spacer dot, and then 3, 4, 5. That's that center right there where that line curves. That's our good starting point. 5 in from that edge. So we're going to count 5 dots. 1, 2, 3. Let me show you something again here. We're on the corner dot, and then we start moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I told you wrong. It is the 5th dot in, but I want you to get it set in your mind when I'm counting dots and saying going forward. I don't count the one I'm sitting on. I just count the steps forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. So sitting on the corner dot there, count the steps forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's that dot. It is coincidentally the 5th dot in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's the only time I'm going to count like that and mention that that dot is, the 5th one in. I'm actually going to be counting steps forward. But anyway, we're starting right there, and we're going to have that our starting point, and then we're going to go forward from there 7 dots. 1, 2, 3, or 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To the 7th one right there, and we're going to draw a curve just like that. And this is the underneath of the line. So this is the under curve, and we're going to be doing some over curves as well. But right now that we did the under curve, and always at the end of the under curve, that's where you draw the pattern. So let me see if I can get it. I'll just put this one back over here. the curve that goes up here, we then start drawing the pattern. You know what, I do need to use this one. I'm going to have to just turn this so that you can see it, because I want you to be able to clearly follow along with me as I draw this pattern. This is one, let's just talk about this one. This is one repeat of the pattern right here. And to do that, we started over here and then we drew up to here, and we are sitting right there right now. And we're going to draw up here and come to a point, and then we're going to make that line curve and swoop right back over there, and then we're going to put this little curved line in there, creating these small leaf shapes inside of this larger leaf shape and a bigger leaf shape. To me, they're all shaped like leaves. But anyway, these little small ones here get created going back that way, and then we go back out, and then we make an over curve. And we go from here forward 7 steps. So in order to do that, with this dot right here, we've drawn from over here, right here, and right here match. And we drew this under curve, and now we're sitting right there, and we're going to draw that up and back. So put that up there, come to a point, and then we're making a curved line, and we're going to go back to the third dot, 1, 2, 3. That third step back, and that comes to right there. Now we are sitting right in there. And we're going to bring this down and curve back up through that dot and make an upwards, see, a downward pointing thing and then an upward pointing one. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to a point and then curve this line under and then to that middle dot there and over and to a point. And then we're going to bring, now we're sitting right up there, right there and there match. And we're going to draw this curve under here, and we're going to come to a point right down under here, under this point, like we are right there. So from there we come back down through that dot and make that curve to there, and then we go back up to that dot. Now we would be sitting right here, and we're going to make that over curve, which we go forward from here 7 steps and we end up right there. But we are in a corner, so we're going to have a little bit of something that gets affected, but we're going to be able to just watch. From there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 puts us to right there. So we're going to curve, bring this on up around and make that over curve and come down right there. Now, if we were going in a straight line, we would count forward 7 dots and make another under curve, just like we did here. This coming down to here would be coming down to here, right here, and then we go the under curve and do a repeat of the pattern, because we've got one repeat of the pattern here. However, we're at a corner, so we need to turn the corner. The way we're going to turn the corner is we're still going to count our 7 dots, but you need to remember this is a spacer dot. We don't count that dot. So from here, count forward 7, 1, 2, skip the spacer dot, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go to right there. And we're not going to just go straight over there. We want to get this curved in a way that we make a nice pretty curve here to continue our pattern. So go up a little and then kind of curve back and down and up there. Now this is where I said, if you don't get it exactly right with the pencil, when you go back later and you're inking your lines and your pattern in, you can make little bits of corrections as needed as you go. And I also should mention I am using a 6B pencil. Let's see if this will focus on that and show you the 6B. It's a 6B pencil. That means this lead is softer than a 2B pencil or an H, any of those, and so it may make a slightly less of an indentation on the paper. If you're worried about that, just use a softer pencil and draw lighter lines. But as I said, I do like how those lines look in my finished piece, so I'm not worried about them at all. I like that echo of the pattern back there, so I just leave that in. Anyways, now we're right here, which is where we were here. We're going to do a repeat of the pattern. So we go up. That puts us up to there. Then we're going to go back over, and we made a point there, and we go back over 3 steps over, and then we make these 2 small repeats, and bring this to a point here, pretty much underneath that dot, so that we can bring that back up to there. And that has us right there, and then we're going to make the over curve that moves forward 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go to right there. You'll also note that that is the 3rd step forward of that. So 1, 2, 3, the 3rd dot in front of that. So that's another way for you to gauge where you're going to draw your line to. Now remember, this is the over curve, so on the over curve we do not repeat the pattern, only on the under curve. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Draw this curve under here, and then repeat the pattern. Up into a point, back to that third dot, do the 2 small ones, point right there, up to here, and forward 7 steps, which is also the third dot in front of this. So we go right up around and down right there. Then forward 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're at a corner again. So for the moment, we just need to remember we just completed an under curve. So we're on this upward swing here of this. We've completed the curve under the line, and then we repeat the pattern just like we had been before. Up there, back to the third dot, repeat the 2 small repeats. Now here's where we have another change, because this is a corner. Here we approach the corner on an over curve. Here we've approached the corner on the under curve. So we're leaving the corner on the over curve, where here we left the corner on the under. So what we want to do is we want to make, let's see if I can get this turned the right way so you can see it. We'll use this one. I think you can see it even though I've got color on it there. We're right here. That's where we are, right there. And we're going to bring this line up and make the point right out here in the corner. So bring that right up to a point there, and then turn your paper around, and we're going to bring this over here. But how far over do we go? Well, we go 7 from this point right back here. From the start of this line, we need to go forward 7. Remember to not count the spacer dot. There is a dot right in there though. So we're right here. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the spacer, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go over to right here. So let's just bring this curve over and down like that. And that creates that corner. And then we are on the, completed the over hand curve. We're going to do an under curve now. So forward 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to right there. Repeat the pattern. Back to the third dot. Put in the 2 small ones. Put this one. And we want to do forward 7, which is that one right there. So make that overhand curve, and we're back to another corner that we need to do the under thing. So remember how we did that. Count forward 7, 1, 2, skip the spacer, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go to right there. We want to curve this up and out a bit, like that. And then because we've just completed the upwards of the underhand curve, we repeat our pattern again. And then go forward 7. Forward 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Repeat the pattern. Forward 7. And forward 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come out right in that corner again. Repeat the pattern. Now watch this. If we did it right, our lines should line up. So from here we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the spacer, 5, 6, 7, and we hit right there, so we did it perfect. That line goes right there. Now we've got one time around completed. So you can see we made it all the way around one time, and we've drawn every other one of our pattern. Now we're going to put the next bit of pattern in, and we're going to find that easy to do because this right here is right here. It's the center of that. We're in the center of the pattern that fits right here. To figure out where our starting point is, where the next upward bit of the pattern is, let's see, let me find an easy way to tell you what we want to do. Let's from there go backwards 2 steps So right before the spacer, 1, 2, and we're going to draw our upward overhand curve again. So going forward 7 from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 puts us right in the center of the next pattern. So just make that curve go right up there and down. Now we want to go forward 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to come up in that corner, and we're going to make a repeat of the pattern. And remember, we go back to the third dot, 1, 2, 3. You have to count that as a dot where you've passed a line through it already, and that becomes the center of this pattern. And then we do our corner like we did, and that puts that in there. Now to go forward 7, we want to remember we just passed up through this dot, so that's our starting point. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip the spacer, 5, 6, 7, and perfectly center up. It works out perfectly right there. We come down in the center of that next pattern, and then go forward 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll notice it's the last dot before the next pattern starts. It's always going to be that too, except when you're at a corner. So bring this under curve right along here, up here, repeat the pattern, going back 3, 1, 2, 3, there's our third dot, so we go back over there, put the 2 small ones in, put this one here that comes out right below that, and up and over, and we're going to go down in the center of there, but watch how this happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your second time around, you can skip the counting and just look at where you're supposed to come out, but it doesn't hurt to count just to be sure you don't, make a mistake. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Repeat the pattern. And then forward 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to that center there. And this is where we need to do our corner again here. That's the overhand corner. So count 7, 1, 2, skip the spacer, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's still going to come out right there. But remember, we just make that little curve right around there and up like that. Repeat the pattern. And up to the center of the next one. And up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into that corner. Repeat the pattern. Over to the center of that one, and the way we get there, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip the spacer, 5, 6, 7, over to that one, which is 7 steps forward. Repeat the pattern, to the center, and forward 7, repeat the pattern, forward 7, which puts us going down through the center there, and we've got to make the pattern the last one, closing everything up. 1, 2, skip the spacer, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. Repeat the pattern, and it perfectly closed everything up. So now we have a border all around the paper. And then you just go back in with it and start adding your ink. I'm gonna, let's see here, to make this show up good, I'm just gonna pick one of these markers here. So it's gonna be nice and bright. I'll use, wait, we want a bright color. Let's try this pinkish, this pink right here. Nice and bright over my pencil. Now the pencil's gonna darken this some, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's see if we zoom in just this little bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna just start putting the pink color right over here. These markers also probably are going to set my pencil lines a little bit, make it harder to erase them, unless I don't draw right on the pencil line. So I can make it curvier, less curvy, thinner, whatever I want to do. I can ink it whatever way I want to do that and have it come out just exactly like I want it to be. If I didn't get some of these lines right where I want them, if I just go slow, which I'm not really doing right now, right around here, let's see how I want to get this corner to come out. Let's put the point more over there. And if I want to bring it up a little and keep it really high, I can put it just like that. Or if I want it a little lower than what it was, I can do that as well. And really, you can take as much time doing this as you want and get your lines just exactly how you want them. Like that's a little flat, so I'll just put a little bit more curve into it right there. The only thing is I usually do this with a black pen instead of a marker. If I had any other color pen, that would work too. I'm just using the marker right now so that it'll show it better on my camera for you to see what I'm doing. But a pen will do a better job of this, and then you can have an easier time erasing your pencil lines. When I go to erase my pencil lines here, this marker is going to kind of have set them in a little bit. But to show you what one thing you can do there, let's see, I use that pink. Let's try this pretty, let's use this greenish color right here for my second time around, and this will be the offset pattern and color. And I'm going to bring this out around here a little more and just adjust where those lines go. And if you're happy with where your lines were, then just mark right straight on top of them. The only thing is, like I said, if you've got nice dark pencil lines like I did so that my camera would pick them up, they're going to darken whatever you put over them. Just like when I used the gold marker, when I was telling you my poem that I wrote and I used the gold marker on it, because it had pencil lines under it, it kind of darkened that metallic gold a bit. So maybe something other than a gold metallic Sharpie would have been a better choice for the inking those lines. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your tools. Just about there. So I've got the ink all over the lines. Then I will take my eraser, which one I want to use here, and start erasing the dots and the lines, the pencil lines I mean. It's erasing pretty good, getting all that pencil out of there. My pink's not too dark, especially where I kept the pink not directly on the pencil line. So I'll just finish this up in time lapse so you don't have to be bored watching me erase. Okay, what a mess. This paper towel. Look at all this. I hate eraser dust. It gets in everything. If I don't keep it off my table, it ends up in my paint and everywhere. Look at all of that. So it's a lot of erasing to get all those lines off, but it's pretty once you got it done. So I'll get that all over there, out of the way. Cover that mess right up. Okay. Now, what I want to do next is to finish this off, I'm going to put my eraser down, not my eraser, my ruler down here, like this, and I'm just going to line it up on the bottom edges here, right along the bottom of those curves, and I'm going to take a colored pencil. Let's see here, what colors I want to use. I'll use some of that blue, or maybe that one. That's a good color, and some orange would be good, but my oranges are not sharpened. There's a good one. There's an orange. I've got lots of pinks, but that one needs sharpened. Maybe I'll use that one. And let's see here. That's maybe that's enough. I'll find a good pattern to go with this here. Let's see. I'll use this. No, that's too pink. How will this do? That's good. So I'm just going to run that pencil right over that edge there. Then switch the ruler to the other side, which is not going to be easy because I didn't leave much space till I'm at the edge of my page. Let's put that right over there. Then do the next one with, let's see here, let's try this color, see how this works out. It's pretty, but I'm not sure it's the one I'm going to continue with. And just overlap it just a little bit there in the corners. Okay, now let's try this orangey color because this is pretty. See what this will do for me. Oh yeah, that's nice and bright. Let's move it back just a little bit there. Come out to the outside. Put that edge on. Again, overlapping just a little bit. Now, what color? Let's try this one, but I think I need to sharpen it. Hold your ears. Okay. Let's put this corner in. It's a pretty color, but it's really deadening down the pretty pink marker, isn't it? All right, let's see. Edge on there straight, and make sure this edge is nice and straight. I kind of already went out too far on this edge, but I'll just give it a little bit of a mark just to be sure. Okay, now pink again. Let's try this pink. This one's kind of closer to salmon. It's not bright orange, but it's not really pink either. But that's okay. Okay, and we didn't use this blue yet, so let's give this one a whirl. Again, pretty, but possibly knocking down too much of the pink color. I'll have to think on that one and come up with a good color that works good over the top of that pink. And got that in. Okay, now I guess we'll go back to the first pink that I used. Was it this one? No, it was this one, wasn't it? Let's try this one. But again, hold your ears. That is very pink. Okay, I'm going to do this outer edge. And this edge. Now you can take a lot of care to making sure to keep this outside edge nice and even if you want to, but I don't because I think it adds an additional little bit of something like those white lines do. I like to have a little bit of variety going on. Let's see, I think we used this one first. So I'm going to repeat now. I might should have taken this one out of my sketchbook so that I could get this other edge done really good, but that's good enough. Let's see, now we need the bright orange. There we go. Got it. Okay, now, where were we? Anyway, that is a battery operated little pencil sharpener there, and I have had the best luck of anything with that when it comes to sharpening colored pencils, which are difficult to keep from breaking the leads on, because I know I used to sharpen my pencils, and before, you know, I just sharpened it and I go to write with it and the whole piece of lead would just fall out on the paper because it would break off way up in there, and these battery operated things do a better job of not making that happen. So I'm just repeating my pattern around and around. Okay, then we need a bright orange in the corner. Is that right? Yep. I don't know if this is going to work out right for a number of blocks of color. If it does, it'll be quite a coincidence because I didn't count and plan ahead. It will just have happened, and it'll be one of those happy accident kind of things. And it looks like we are going to work out right because I have one more spot to put one of my blue or blue-green colors in, and it's going to be this one. There. Finished. Now all I have to do is figure out what I want to write in the center of it. And I can turn it this way and make some nice big word having to do with these colors, or one of my grandkids' names or a friend's name, or just, you know, any kind of thing. You could put something in there like, what are those words that people say? Gather, or I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. So you could put, the perfect thing to put in here would be a Celtic word. Let me see if I can just get a pencil. It's the right kind of thing. What do I want to write it with? I'm going to write it with this right here. And let's see if I can spell it right. I better look it up. No, I know how to spell it. Let's see here. And we need one more little thing. A 4-leaf clover. Maybe put one on this corner as well. Beautiful. So anyway, I hope you had a great time drawing Celtic borders with me today, and that you'll have fun putting some more of them all over stuff to send out to your friends, or maybe hang on your own wall, and that you'll also let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it and what you used it for. And give me a like if you could do that too, because that is what YouTube and Google use to decide that this is a video that people enjoy, and that then they'll recommend it to more people, so I'll get more views, which is what I'm after to help my channel grow. So that helps me a ton if you could do that. And then if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and that'll let you know when I put more videos out. Thanks tons, and I'll see you next time. Sláinte!